Hi, this is Dietra Kelsey, host of SistahTalk TV show, and this is SistahTalk After the Show. From the live show is Dee Dee. You may know her from the HBO special, The Education of DeeDee Ricks. Thank you, Dee Dee, for staying after the show. And I know that you're cold. I am cold also, but this is SistahTalk After the Show, and what we do is just let it out. Just let it out. You know, I just find you very fascinating. You know, I accidentally just came up on your website, and I said, oh, okay, I read the synopsis. Okay, let me just write her. And you responded and you said yes. I said, oh, wow, okay, I got someone. Then I started reading and reading. I was like, oh, I got someone.
You got a live one.
I got a live one. I said, this woman has been on HBO, Nightline. She is all over the place. What baffles me is that you said cancer was the worst and best thing that happened to you.
That's me, DeeDee Ricks. I rent a beautiful $14 million apartment. I recruit millionaires for billionaires. I can't spend the money I'm making fast enough.
I also just found out I have cancer. What does a woman that doesn't have all this, what does she do?
Not only a medical challenge, it is a moral challenge.
To hear you have cancer is very scary.
I want to meet Cynthia because I want to know whom I'm fighting for.
You want to look at the person and go, so what? I'm supposed to die? You have the means. Can you imagine someone that doesn't have those means?
I'm having a chemo breakdown. You should see the bills that I have.
I'm so close to being bankrupt.
I can't keep this lifestyle up and keep helping others. No one can give me an answer as to what needs to be done. It breaks my heart.
And you don't know whether you're gonna live or you're gonna die, but you gotta have hope.
The worst thing about cancer was the actual treatment part of it. But once you got through that, it was the best thing. And I think from an emotional and spiritual perspective, because it got me back to my roots. You know, I grew up in the South, and I left home when I was 13. I worked at Chick-fil-A.
You say your roots, when you say you got back to your roots, are you saying just with ordinary people or just common people? Because your world at that time was with millionaires and probably still is.
No,
billionaires.
Billionaires.
Okay.
That was my everyday life. And you get caught up in the world. And that wasn't my world. And
were you happy talking to them, closing those $1 million deals?
Well, sure, it's a rush. And it's like gambling almost, you know, the art of the deal. And I was addicted. And now, you know, I just thank God every day I'm alive.
You said that you were poor in North Carolina. What does poor mean to you? How poor was that for you? What does poor mean?
Well, there's different levels of poor, but for me, you know, the latchkey child, you know, supervising myself at a very early age.
You had no brothers and sisters?
An older brother, but 8 years older, so
okay.
Was not around.
So your family, you came from mother and father? And they were together?
They divorced.
They divorced. So you came from a single parent?
Yes.
The education of DeeDee Ricks started out for your children. What changed that when you met Dr. Freeman?
I went to Harlem, met Dr. Freeman, and he uttered the words, "Poverty should not be an offense that is punishable by death."
And that just hit you?
That hit me. And I'm right there in his office that day. I vowed to raise him $2.5 million. And not only have I raised him $2.5 million, I've stood by that man's side. And it's my mission to go out there and make sure that the 100 million Americans who are underinsured or uninsured get access to health care.
Because of Dr. Freeman, you met Cynthia Dobson.
Yes.
Tell me about her. Yeah. In your own words, just tell me about her.
She was me.
She was.
She was me. She was vivacious. She was a go-getter. She was beautiful. She was just funny. I loved her.
Y'all first met, y'all just hit it off.
Well, I'll never forget that one night being in the hospital when she was going through chemotherapy. All my girlfriends came and we were talking about dating, and at the time I was dating my now husband. And she's like, you know, I might be a one titty wonder, but I want my loser. Everybody needs their loser, and I want my loser. And that was just us. That was us.
One thing about the documentary that I like about you was you didn't put on your facade at all. You were Dee Dee. Dee Dee, crazy, funny. Dee Dee, your last chemotherapy treatment, you went to the Patient Navigation Institute in a limo up in Harlem with expensive champagne. This woman is crazy. You walked in there just dancing and, come on, I'm ready. I just think that's so wonderful that you just didn't lose you during this process. And you directed towards giving back, and educating and nurturing. And that's what SistahTalk is all about. That is what womanhood and goddesses is all about. That's why I pin you all womb warriors. And if you all can do it, I can do it. And thank you for coming on the show. Like I said before, I didn't know what I had. I just read a bio, and I started doing my research. I said, oh, I got something. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dietra.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.